Hey, the American people won, and the special interests lost, finally. With the final passage of the Inflation Reduction Act in the House of Representatives, the American people are going to see lower prescription drug prices, lower health care costs, and lower energy costs. And big corporations are finally going to start to pay their fair share. Those that are paying $0 in federal income tax will now have to pay a minimum tax. And America is going to take the most aggressive action we've ever taken in confronting the climate crisis and strengthening the energy security of America. Big drug companies, they spent nearly $100 million to try to defeat this bill. And yet every Republican in the Congress voted against the bill. Every single Republican. Against lower prescription drug prices, against lower health care costs, against a fairer tax system, against tackling the climate crisis, lower energy costs, and good-paying jobs. And by the way, in the process, we reduced the deficit as well. This is a historic moment. The Democrats sided with the American people, and the Republicans sided with special interests. That's the choice we face. Whether we protect the already powerful or have the courage to build a future where everybody has an even shot. That's the America I believe in. And today, we've come a step closer to making that America real.
There you have it. President Joe Biden's reaction to Congress passing the Inflation Reduction Act after over a year. And you heard him say that Democrats have sided with the American people on this one. Now, let me know your thoughts, because I've heard a lot of people say no. They feel like Democrats have not kept their promises and sided with the American people because they had promised them fourth federal level stimulus checks of $2,000. Where are those checks? We've heard members of the Senate like Bernie Sanders say, hey, keep your promises. Actual members of the Democratic Party in Congress reminding the president, you haven't done what you said. In addition to that, Social Security increases. Again, Bernie Sanders said he's bringing it back. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said free college tuition, free child care. We have heard about child tax credits coming back. There's an assortment of different provisions that have not been passed. So let me know your thoughts. Do you feel like the Democratic Party, they have sided with the American people on this to try to help with inflation, reduce things? We're hearing that there could be additional taxation from this, but it's not going to be on anybody that makes more than $400,000 a year, they're saying. Now, we will see, because there's a lot of skepticism. We hear only about 12% of the nation's population believes that this bill is actually going to do what Democrats are claiming. We will see, you guys. Now, I'm going to get you caught up on the latest, because they're also saying that Democrats and President Joe Biden right now, they're raking in the victories right before these midterm elections, and we're starting to see a blue wall, they're saying, stand against a red wave, and they're saying that wall's starting to get taller, that the American people are starting to say, you know what, let's keep Democrats in power. Now, let me know your thoughts, you guys, but this is your breaking news, stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, I've got another video clip that I want to share with you. This is just coming out from MSNBC, and they're going to be discussing the midterm elections. Now, as you guys know, the American people need help. There's a lot of people suffering, and it's very unfortunate that they've had to wait so long to get some help, but historically what we see is right before elections, whether it's presidential or midterm, a lot starts to happen because those that are in control, in power, in Congress, they want to show the American people that they can get things done, so they start getting them done, so it's fresh in their minds right before the elections. And we're hearing that's exactly what's going to be happening with Democrats. And if you missed my previous video, we heard from Pramila Jayapal, who said executive actions, they're going to be coming, and they're going to be bringing back all those provisions of the past. They're going to be coming back, and they're going to start trying to pass them through executive action, executive order. So do not be surprised if in the course of the next 90 days, there is a lot of new proposals, new provisions, executive actions, sending out direct assistance to people. Now, you guys, I will keep you up to date every step of the way, but we're hearing already that a lot of these are starting to come back. Now, I'm going to share with you the video footage. Before we dive in, also wanted to mention that I checked the website and we have over 7,000 people now that are awaiting the comprehensive list of all stimulus checks on every single level. A lot of people think there's just the fourth federal level stimulus check. That is not the case. And they think that the state check's going out, that you have to have filed your taxes. And that is not the case either. There is city, county, state checks going out all the time. New ones popping up I've got that I'm going to share with you guys here very soon. And also ones that are expiring. And in many cases with these, you got to be eligible and you got to apply. They don't necessarily know who the checks are supposed to go to. And if you don't apply, if you don't know about what's going on, you miss out on the window of opportunity and the leftover money. We're hearing there's tons of it. It just goes back to the federal government and you miss out on money you could have got. And I don't want that to happen to anybody here on my channel. So as you know, I'm assembling that comprehensive list so that way you can have access to every single stimulus check on every level in the nation. I literally have over 20 different programs in the state of California alone, you guys. So if you haven't already signed up, go to www.reliefroadmap.com, put in your email, get added to the wait list. Going to be releasing that here very soon. It's just taken me a really long time. It's quite the undertaking, you guys, but I want to make sure that you have access to everything. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully going to have it ready here before the 22nd. Give me about another week or two. I'm going to have everything ready for you guys. So if you haven't, add your email, let your friends and family know, spread the word. Going to be releasing that very soon. But you guys, let's dive into the video footage as they're going to be discussing the wins that we're hearing Democrats are saying they're collecting and more that's going to be on the way here before the elections. They're going to be discussing everything. Let's dive right in. But before we do me a quick favor, smash that like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, totally free. Turn on that notification bell. I'll keep you up to speed on everything as it unfolds. I cite all my sources, read right from the articles, put it on the screen so you know it's the latest. And if you got any specific questions for me, just so we can learn about growing wealth, personal finance. We're hearing we're in a recession or one is on the way. We're still not sure. We've got 41-year high inflation, a potential housing market crash. And we're hearing that it's times like these when people decide to take control of their financial situation that people start to have incredible financial success. And I want to share with you guys real estate investing, stocks, cryptos, starting businesses on that second channel. So if you're interested, go subscribe and more content coming. But with that being said, you guys, let's take a look at this video footage and see what they're saying about Democrats raking in the wins and saying they're going to take midterm elections.
So much for winning. That was Donald Trump's guarantee to the American people. Well, by now you've probably heard that the twice impeached former president has not had a winning week. Do you know who did? The current president. On Tuesday, Joe Biden signed a rare bipartisan bill into law, the CHIPS and Science Act. It's a $200 billion move to revolutionize domestic production of computer chips and clean energy and reduce American reliance on foreign technology while addressing the climate crisis. Then on Wednesday, Biden signed the PACT Act into law, giving new benefits and protections to war veterans exposed to toxins from the burn pits while they were deployed overseas. A group of Senate Republicans had blocked the bill last week over cost concerns, but they relented after a pressure campaign led by comedian-turned-activist Jon Stewart. And on Friday, the House made a rare August return to Washington to vote on Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, a bill that was once considered dead in the water, unable to survive a Republican Senate filibuster, until Democratic leaders secured support from moderate Democratic Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Take a listen.
Today is really a glorious day for us. We send to the president's desk a monumental bill that will be truly for the people, the Inflation Reduction Act. Sadly, for all the good that it does, without one Republican vote.
The bill includes $369 billion for fighting climate change, from tax credits for electric cars and funding for wind and solar to hefty fees on companies that pollute. It also sets a 15% minimum tax on corporate profits and imposes a new tax on stock buybacks, the first new corporate taxes in a generation. And the bill gives Medicare the power to finally negotiate prescription drug prices, a move that Democrats have sought for over 3 decades. And that could make prescription cheaper for millions. Not a bad week for President Biden, the American people, and let me tell you, the planet.
Decades from now, people are going to look back at this week with all we've passed and all we've moved on, that we met the moment at this inflection point in history. A moment when we bet on ourselves, believed in ourselves, and recaptured the story, the spirit, and the soul of this nation.
There's the president with his aviator glasses saying so much winning. For a year and a half, you've heard the narrative about Dems in disarray, unable to get even the most basic parts of their agenda through a 50-50 Senate. Wrestling with post-pandemic inflation, losing the fight for our democracy possibly. But this summer, Biden has gotten much of that agenda through Congress by outfoxing Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell, no less. All while stocks have risen, the job market remains strong, and inflation slowed. Get this, gas prices have even dropped for the 8th week in a row. We're already seeing the political impact as midterm polls have begun to show voters preferring Democrats over Republicans in control of Congress. So with 3 months left before the midterm election, and with the former president facing multiple investigations, can Democrats build on this week to preserve the majority in the House and the Senate? Or will all of this be forgotten by the American people by November? Joining me now is Julian Castro, former mayor of San Antonio, who served as Secretary of House and Urban Development under President Obama. He's also MSNBC political analyst. And Rick Wilson, co-founder of the Lincoln Project and author of Running Against the Devil, a plot to save America from Trump and Democrats themselves. What a title you have there, Rick. So, Rick, I wanted to start with you. Is this too much winning for President Biden this week?
You know, look, this is a long-deserved stretch where President Biden is putting some points up on the board. And it is a contrast I think the American people will appreciate, because there's one side where it's going to be chaos, cruelty, confusion, and conspiracy, and the other side where it's the hard work of doing the legislative lift, the nuts and bolts of getting things done for the American people. And, you know, even as a former Republican, I don't have to agree with everything that's in the bill, but if the alternative is crazy, and the product here is productive and decent and compromised legislation, I think the American people respond favorably to that.
So I want to bring you in, Julian. Is this going to make a difference in the midterms? I know that oftentimes people say that the Democrats passed the popular $500 billion investment bill last year, but we didn't see much of a bump in voters. Is this different?
Well, this is a lot closer to the midterms, right? And I think, Maria Teresa, you hit the nail on the head when you say that, will this make a difference? Because people have a short attention span. There's no question about that. All of us remember that conventional wisdom used to say that the election really begins right after Labor Day. Well, we're not at Labor Day yet. But here's the thing. This can't hurt. Because the knock on President Biden and Democrats had been they're not getting anything done. These great plans they had for Build Back Better had failed. Inflation is going sky high. Gas prices are rising. Now we see the exact opposite. They're getting a lot done that's really going to impact the American people and our long-term future, like on climate change. In addition to that, what people are seeing in front of their gas pump every day, the gas prices going down, what they're seeing at the grocery stores, prices are stabilizing at least, the cost of buying a car. In so many different ways, they're going to be reminded over the next couple of months that things are going in a better direction than they had been going. That can only be good. I don't see it in any way hurting Democrats. And I actually believe that if we think about the calendar that's left for Congress, they only have 1 or 2 weeks left here, and then they take a break. And I think they're only back for like 3 weeks in September. So the hope is for Democrats that this is going to be the lasting impression that the American people have of them and the president, getting things done, moving things in the right direction, making your life better. This is why you hired them in the first place, so you should keep them in November.
So, Rick, as a self-proclaimed recovering Republican, I want to ask you, as a long-serving former senator, Biden seems to understand the workings of the Senate better than any other president in recent history. He seems to be delivering on his bipartisan promise by securing key pieces of legislation. Will this help the Democrats win independent voters that they desperately need and moderate voters who basically think that the party has become so extreme? Or is this basically more of the same, where we actually do have bipartisan legislation, we have receipts to prove it, but we are so entrenched in our political parties that we won't be able to wiggle anybody for the midterms come November?
I think part of this depends on the progressive wing of the Democratic Party in the next few weeks saying that this is a good bill, these are good bills, that this is good stuff, instead of complaining that it wasn't enough. One of the things that I think would be important is a sense of unity in the Democratic Party to say we've accomplished something big. Was it everything everyone wanted? No. But was it good? Did it help? Is it meaningful? Is it productive? All those things, I think if they can answer that, yes, it will help them in November. But it's also going to rely on them continuing to pitch the sale, continuing to close the deal, bragging about it. Take a victory lap. Don't look at the short-term, people who fell short and didn't get all they wanted. Look at the things it's done for real people. Look at the things it's done for everyday Americans. And I think they need to keep selling that. As Julian said correctly, this is a short-term memory country. And unless you're putting it in their face every couple of days, hey, by the way, we did X for you, your life will be better. And to connect it to the improving economy as gas prices and commodity prices come down, as inflation starts to moderate, all these things all the arrows are pointing now in the right direction. They're not where they need to be, but I think you can use this as a proof point that Joe Biden can get things done for this country outside of, again, the noise, the chaos, the confusion, all the things that define the Republican Party of today.
So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that this is going to be enough for the Democrats to maintain control in Congress? Do you think that it's enough for the American people? Do you think they should be touting this and, like he said, just putting it out there every single day, reminding people of what they've done? We're hearing that a lot more of them are saying that there's going to be more on the way. We're actually hearing from Bernie Sanders right now, who's saying, listen, more needs to be done. This is not enough. Vocalize did exactly what he said they should not be doing. He said they should be doing unification, being all together and saying that this is good. But we're hearing a lot of reports that progressives are saying, no, more is needed. And as I mentioned, Pramila Jayapal, she said executive actions for more provisions, they're going to be needed. And I know a lot of people here on the channel have vocalized, they're still hurting. There's people that still need help. This is not enough. And for them to pass something and then to brag about it, it's not going to help out anybody. We need direct assistance stimulus provisions to help out people at this time. Maybe pass some of those, get those done, start sending out help to people, and then the American people will side with them, is opinion that I hear a lot here on the channel. But let me know your thoughts, you guys. But that is the latest coming out. President Joe Biden getting a few things done here, and they're saying that they're going to take it in these midterm elections. We will see. I will keep you up to date. We're hearing there's going to be a whole lot more ramping up here in the next 90 days. But that is the latest. And with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for me if you appreciate the content. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. If you got any specific questions for me, it's to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. And also, if you haven't already, add your email to www.reliefroadmap.com to get added to the wait list for the comprehensive stimulus checklist for every single one in the nation, states, cities, counties, so you don't miss out on anything. But with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless.